Hey everybody, today we're going to do some practice questions talking all about the multiples of 5. And when I say the word multiples, what I'm really talking about is that's the fancy math way to say all the numbers that we would say if we were counting by fives. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way up to 500 million. Anything that we would say as we're counting by fives are multiples of fives. So there's two different types of questions that you're going to see. And they're all about hands and feet because we have 5 fingers on each hand and we have 5 toes on each hand. So hands and feet are a great thing to talk about when you're talking about multiples of 5, so numbers that you skip count by 5. So the first type of question will be, it will tell you how many feet or how many hands you are given, and you'll need to come up with how many toes. So on 2 feet, how many toes are there? So 2 feet, that would be 1, 2, and that would be 5 feet. 5 toes, 10 toes. So I would have 10 toes. The other type of question you're going to see is the exact opposite. Instead of giving you the number of feet or hands and you having to figure out how many toes or fingers there are, the question is going to tell you how many fingers or toes, and you're going to count how many hands or how many feet. And now, there are a few different strategies that you can use to do this. You can use your hundreds chart or your number line and actually just count out how many toes or how many hands. You could use your fingers and hands and try and look at everyone in your family or draw them out and count how many fingers or toes there actually are. You could count by fives. So just like I did with the question with the 2 feet, I counted 1 foot has 5 toes and 2 feet, 10 toes. So I'm skip counting and I'm using my fingers to calculate. And then the opposite way of that, when I'm giving 15 fingers, how many hands is that? I might count by fives until I get to 15 and see how many hands I got. So I'm going to use my fingers. 5 fingers, 10 fingers, 15 fingers. So I know that there's only 3 hands. Another thing you could do if you want to actually touch and feel and move things around is you can find something that you've got a big collection of that you could actually make these numbers with. So I've got my little bucket of buttons here, and I've split them into groups of 5. So now what I can do, each button would represent a finger or a toe, and each group of 5 would represent a hand or a foot. So when I'm looking at my question that says that I have 15 fingers, how many hands? I can see that I have 15 buttons here, so that would represent my 15 fingers, and I can count the groups, 1 hand, 2 hand, 3 hands. I decided to circle all the numbers first that I would say by fives on my hundreds chart, so that when I use this as a tool, it's really easy for me to tell which ones I need to look at. If you can do it just in your head, that's fantastic, but sometimes it's a lot easier to organize our thinking and to keep track of what exactly we're doing when we use our tools like our number lines or our hundreds chart. So circling the numbers that you say when you count by 5 on your hundreds chart and then using that as a tool while you're answering the questions is a great idea. Good job, Ravi. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with to answer the questions and try and use all the different strategies that I named and see which one works best for you. Have fun.